Good evening, this is TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Every trade and investment risk undertaken by the Sarawak government is based on detailed assessment and planning. Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says this approach is evident through the government's investment in the hydrogen sector, which is described as a more sustainable and affordable energy source in the coming years, especially amid rising fossil fuel prices.
Maknanya, calculation kita dulu, keputusan kita dulu adalah tepat apabila kita menggunakan hydrogen. Tuan-tuan, kita mengambil risiko, but the risk is calculated risk. You must know how to calculate, and you must be able to predict what happens in the future, because fossil fuel is depleting and hydrogen is sustainable. Sebab itulah hari ini kita menjadi pusat pengeluar hydrogen di kawasan rantau ASEAN pada hari ini.
According to Abang Johari, Sarawak must not be a mere onlooker in high-impact industries, but instead should act proactively to ensure continued involvement in these strategic sectors. He says Sarawakians have the ability and expertise to manage industries such as methanol, while also exploring new technologies to drive the sector's development. He adds that he will continue to defend his long-standing stance, as every decision made is for the well-being and future of the people of Sarawak. A South Korean company is looking to hire about 1,000 Sarawakian engineers as it expands its semiconductor-grade polysilicon plant in Samalaju. Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the company shared the plan with him during a recent meeting.
They are expanding their plan and requiring 1,000 engineers. Jadi saya lihat position dia ada di advertise, ada di job Sarawak. Dan saya telah juga kongsi dengan mereka supaya mengambil intern daripada universiti kita untuk mereka waktu cuti bekerja di tempat mereka, dan akhirnya kalau mereka didapati sesuai, they can be absorbed into the plan.
He adds that the industry's market is massive, opening the door to more high-skilled job opportunities for Sarawakians. At the same time, Abang Johari said the plant expansion is aimed at boosting polysilicon output for semiconductor manufacturing to meet growing demand from emerging industries, especially the aerospace sector. He says the Sarawak government is also currently conducting research to further develop the industry. Meanwhile, Abang Johari is issuing a challenge to a lecturer at the National University of Malaysia, UKM, to develop innovative technology capable of extending solar panel energy generation to 12 hours. The Premier notes that current solar infrastructure only generates power for about 4 hours, heavily relying on battery energy storage systems, or BESS, to sustain longer energy supplies. Abang Johari shares that he had previously met with the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering from UKM and his team, who are experts in the energy field. Commenting further, Abang Johari says he is calling on metallurgy experts to revolutionize solar panel efficiency.
Dan ini saya serah kepada pihak saintis lah, kerana beliau ni adalah pakar daripada UKM. She is a lady now, a professor. Jadi I just tell her, but she answered, she responded to my challenge. She will study. I kata boleh kerjasama dengan kita on the semiconductor.
He's urging researchers to fuse the state's abundant silica sand with other metals, creating next-generation solar panels that can store energy far longer than current models. With Sarawak sitting on a gold mine of raw silicon materials, the Premier believes the state is perfectly positioned to dominate this emerging global market. The federal government has approved an allocation to upgrade Limbang Hospital into a major specialist hospital, with preliminary work now actively underway. Sarawak Deputy Minister of Food Industry, Commodity and Regional Development, Dato' Dr. Abdul Rahman Ismail says the Health Ministry has integrated Limbang Hospital into its strategic plan to elevate local healthcare services.
Pada masa itu saya jadi pengarah hospital, kita plan to cover the whole hospital. Dan sekarang ni sudah bertambah baik kan? Sudah bertambah baik dan sekarang ni hospital 5 sudah dinaikkan sebagai hospital pakar minor. Akan sudah ada perusahaan untuk menjadikannya sebagai hospital pakar major. Tapi kita kerja awalan.
The Bukit Kota Assemblyman says initial construction on Limbang Hospital's new block is locked into the 12 Malaysia Plan, or RMK-12, and will roll over into RMK-13. He stresses that the upgrade is critical, noting that while the hospital boasts various specialties, it desperately lacks the advanced infrastructure and specialized complexes needed to serve local patients. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is calling on Malaysians to reject politics of hate and division, urging a shift towards strengthening national development. He says the country must move forward by focusing on economy, investment, education, and the well-being of the people, instead of being caught up in racial and religious issues that could strain national unity.
It's time it's time that we Malaysians, we decide. Enough of this politics of hate and discord. You see, I mean, I'm there. I don't think I'm in a position like, look, we can't avoid that. We're in the midst of all this. You see, we try and work hard. We're working hard. We try to improve the welfare of our people.
He stresses that the government machinery continues to drive the national agenda forward every week, completely unfazed by political pressure. The unity government, Anwar says, remains a locked-in, singular team laser-focused on boosting the economy, drawing new investments, and upgrading public services. Iranian media says Tehran is considering the latest peace proposal while accusing the U.S. of excessive demands. With the arrival of Pakistan's army chief in Tehran and U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly skipping his son's wedding due to government matters, it is speculated that the situation has entered a sensitive stage. Earlier, Pakistan's army chief Asim Munir arrived in Tehran on Friday, where he held talks with Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi on the latest diplomatic efforts to prevent further escalation of the conflict. Despite the discussions continuing late into the night, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Bakai said major differences still remain, adding that there has yet to be a decisive breakthrough. Meanwhile, Araghchi told UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in a phone call that Tehran would remain engaged in diplomatic efforts despite the US's repeated betrayals of diplomacy, military aggression, contradictory positions, and repeated excessive demands towards Iran. In spite of weeks of negotiations since the April 8 ceasefire, including talks hosted in Islamabad, both sides have yet to reach a permanent resolution or fully restore access through the Strait of Hormuz. Over 1.5 million pilgrims from outside of Saudi Arabia have arrived for the upcoming Hajj despite the current ongoing conflict in West Asia. According to Commander of Saudi Arabia's Hajj Passport Forces, Saleh Al Murabba, the figures are expected to rise over the next 2 days as more pilgrims arrive before the start of Hajj.
أود الإعلان أنه عن قرب انتهاء أيضا فترة قدوم الحجاج من خارج المملكة، وبلغ حتى الآن مجموع الحجاج 1,518,153 حاجا قدموا من خارج المملكة. كان نصيب المنافذ الجوية 1,457,514 حاج، ونصيب المنافذ البرية 45,141، ونصيب المنافذ البحرية 6,497.
Last year, the number of pilgrims arriving from outside of Saudi Arabia stood at over 1,506,000, while the total number of pilgrims reached over 1,673,000. Earlier in February, the conflict in West Asia has resulted in air traffic disruptions and rising travel costs. But despite the complications, pilgrims continue to travel to Saudi Arabia to fulfill one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Over in China, a massive gas explosion at a coal mine has killed at least 90 people. It marks the country's worst mining disaster in nearly 2 decades. The blast ripped through the Liu Shenyu coal mine in Shaanxi province at 7:30 Friday evening, trapping dozens of workers deep underground as toxic carbon monoxide levels spiked. Out of the 247 miners on shift, 90 are confirmed dead. Over 100 others were rushed to hospitals. 4 remain in critical condition. Wang Yong, a miner who survived the blast, described the terrifying moments the tunnel filled with thick fumes. He said, quote, "There was a puff of smoke and a heavy smell of sulfur. People around me were choking, and then I fainted. When I woke up an hour later, I grabbed the guy next to me and we crawled out together." More than 750 emergency personnel are still on site. This is China's deadliest mining accident since 2009, when the blast in Heilongjiang province claimed 108 lives. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for an all-out response, demanding a thorough investigation and stricter workplace safety enforcement. Authorities confirm a top company official has already been detained as investigations begin into lax safety protocols in the coal-rich region. SpaceX has launched its latest and most powerful Starship rocket to date, following a successful test flight of the newest version on Friday. The launch comes as founder Elon Musk signals plans to take the company public, marking another major step in SpaceX's efforts to develop spacecraft for future missions to the Moon and Mars. The third-generation Starship spacecraft successfully flipped upright and reignited its engines for control, despite one engine failing during the maneuver. The vehicle coasted through space, but failed to reach its precise target orbit after one of its engines malfunctioned during the initial burn. During its 12th integrated test mission, the rocket lifted off from SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas, carrying a batch of simulated Starlink satellites. The spacecraft later splashed down in the Indian Ocean following the test flight. Meanwhile, Musk congratulated his team on social media platform X, describing the test flight as epic. Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire World on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. Thanks for watching and have a good night.